Fly. My name is Kristen, and today I am going to work on day 19 of Scrap a Sketch, which is Lisa Sikorsky. She has a group on Facebook, and for the month of December, she's doing a layout every day or a sketch every day. And I think it's through the 24th or the 25th. And so this is from yesterday, the 19th. And also, Dotty About Flair has prompts that you can use with them. And the Dotty About Flair prompt for the 19th is paper scraps, splatters, and inked edges. So this is the sketch that I'm going to use. And I am going to follow the prompts as well. So this is the picture that I'm going to use. This is me and my husband, and we are at one of my favorite traditions of my family is going out to my uncle's farm and hunting down trees. For those of us in my family who still use a real tree, that is not us. We go along for the ride. We ride in the back of the trucks and have a good old time. This is actually the last year that I went. So this is a special picture. My husband only got to go a couple of times, so he was actually there the last year I got to go. So here is my one picture to go with the sketch, and I've picked a paper to use out of this Craft Smart. It's from Michael's, and I pulled this paper out, quite fitting since we were on a tree hunt, and figured I'd use this white, and the white is what I will do my splatters with. So this is the paper I'm going to use with this white. And then I'm not going to mess with this too much because this bag is so noisy. This is my Christmas scraps. I've got plenty of papers I could pull from if I don't find what I want in here for all of these little strips of paper. But I definitely want to try and pull as much as I can out of here for the layout. And then inking the sides, I have these 4 distress inks. So I will pick one of these. I have more, but these are the 4 that I typically turn to for inking edges. And then for my splatters, I would like to use and plan on using, if not all of these, at least 1 or 2 of these Ranger Distress mica sprays, because I love the shiny shimmery. But I also brought these out just in case. This is Ranger's Delusion Shimmer Spray in Polished Jade. And then this is Ranger's Distress Oxide in Peeled Paint. So I thought I might want to bring some green in. I wasn't really sure, so I figured I'd pull those out. So I'm going to use some of that, some scraps from here. So that'll cover all 3 of the prompts for Dotty About Flair. So I have my papers, I have my inks, and my scraps, and my picture. So let's see if I can make this happen. All right, so the first thing I did was I took my white solid paper and put it in my new spray box. You can tell it's new because it only has 1 day's worth of spray in it. So my other box was looking pretty rough. So I started with the shimmer spray and just tapped it out, and I started in the bottom right corner and went up towards the left because I looked at the sketch, which is why I folded the lid down so I could look at the sketch better to make sure that I was putting the spray or tapping it out in the best place. I didn't want to put too much in the top right and bottom left because there's going to be pictures in the clusters and those strips of paper going there. So got that done, set that aside, and pulled out all of my Christmas scraps that I have in that bag that I had shared earlier. Went through all of those, pulled out the ones that I felt like I really wanted to work with. And since we were on a tree hunt and we like to ride in the back of the truck, I pulled that little journaling spot that cut apart up there in the top left corner. So I got 5 different patterns out, and then I cut down my white paper. I took I think I took a 1/2 inch off the side and on the bottom, so it gave me a 1/4 inch of a border. I thought I might do more than that, but I really wanted the space for all these clusters or these lines of paper. So I took each of my papers. Oh, look, I was checking to make sure I was still in frame. I took each of my strips of paper and laid them down, and I'm only taping at the bottom so that I can trim them up after I get them on here. Because in the sketch, they are varying lengths, and I wanted to stick with that even though some of them would be covered, because my picture is going to cover the tops of some of them, which is fine with me. So I wanted to add this pop of pink in the middle just because everything on this layout was going to be that green and red. And I really like the red and black plaid that's on that journaling spot. And so I wanted to bring in the stripe that goes with that. It came from one paper pad and that I got from like a Facebook auction. And so, excuse me, I decided that I would bring that in. I believe all of that. Nope, I thought it came from this paper pad I have, but it does not. It must have been some loose papers. Like I said, that came from the Facebook Marketplace. So I thought they had come out of this paper pad, but I was, that's not right. Sorry. So I got all of them down, and then I went and cut them in the general idea of the sketch. Not exactly. Mine are thinner. The ones in the sketch come closer to more than half of the bottom, and I didn't want to, I liked the thickness of these stripes. So then I just repeated the same pattern up at the top, but flipped it all the way so it's from the outside in the same pattern. So I'm now laying down that journaling spot, and I want to have that coming out on the top and the bottom. So I cut it to where the picture would be at the top and then the journaling spot could be at the bottom. So I am matting my picture, and I've decided to mat it on a piece of scrap that was the same as the background paper, that black with the green trees. I thought that would look good, especially on that white. But then after I get it down, I hold it up against the stripes of scrap paper and realize that it's going to kind of blend in, and I really kind of want it to stand out a little more. So I decide to double mat the picture that I'm putting down, and since it's the only picture, I like adding extra layers because it's, the focal point of this page. So I got the picture matted, and I trimmed it down just a smidge from a 4x6 because the paper I had left was exactly 6 inches, so I just trimmed like a 1/4 inch of the side of the picture. So I can't find the right green, so I pulled, this is my scrap tray of green scraps. And I have I have a 10 drawer, 8.5 by 11, and each drawer has solid 8.5 by 11, and the drawer below it in that same color has the scraps. And that is the best way for me to organize my scraps at this time. So I'm back and forth with the scraps. I didn't like anything that was in my scrap drawer. I'm pulling all these different Christmassy colors out. I pulled 2 different shades of green. I'm just not liking it with that background because that lime color is not the same as the lime green in the little trees that are on that pink paper. And so I'm just trying to figure out what's going to look the best. So I do like the lime, but I don't want it to be in the back. I want something different. So I try that green Kelly green, and I didn't like that. So then I see, I'm going to try everything, and I don't like it. Finally, I get to thinking about it, and there's a lot of black on this paper. There is black in 4 of the 5 strips of paper, as well as on the back strip. I'm so sorry. And so I decided to lay down the black. I took the black ink and inked up all 4 sides of this lime green paper, even though I knew the majority of the top and the left side were going to be on black paper and you wouldn't see it. But because I didn't know exactly where I was going to lay it down, I wanted to go ahead and ink the whole thing. It wasn't going to hurt anything. So now I have my inked sides and my splatters. So, and of course scraps. So I have now done all three of the Dotty About Flair prompts for the sketch. So now I just need to finish laying it out, and then I don't overly embellish because I just love when I ink a page not to do too much to take away from that. So it is lightly embellished, kind of along the lines of this sketch. So I lay down the left side, and I want to make sure I get this, the journaling pieces and the top part in before it gets all the way put down. So I get those mostly lined up. I'm an eyeballer, you all. I do not typically pull out my ruler and stuff. I mean, I eyeball, and if it looks good to me, then it looks good. So I get that laid down, and I decided to tuck the top part of that into between the lime green and the black instead of behind the black. So it wasn't going up as high on the page. So I pulled out the sketch again to make sure I was on the right track. And now I am trying to figure out exactly what I want to do to embellish. So here is my Christmas box, and it is kind of crazy. I have tons of Christmas stuff, and I have more than what you see right here. This is just what I've been trying to use because I've had a lot of this for a long time, and some of it is stuff I got on Facebook that's older, and I'm trying to get as much of it used as I can on these layouts because I'm working through Christmas right now, predominantly, not completely, because I'm also scrapbooking my daily 2021 life, but this is from 2017. This is just one picture that I wanted to document that would fit in the sketch. So I am just flipping through all of my stickers, phrases to see if there's anything that I might want to use on here, since I'm not 100% sure. See, I wing it, guys. That is my scrapbook style, is winging it. That's why the name of my channel is Scrapping on the Fly, because I like fly by the seat of my pants most of the time. So that's why sometimes sketches can be hard for me, because I like to just kind of toss things on the page, you know, oh, this looks good here and here. So anywho, so I pull out all these different things, and I'm looking through these word phrases that I have that came in this kit that I got off Facebook. And there's lots of really nice little words that can be used. And so anything that sounded like something I could use, I pulled. So I got all that out to set my box aside and decide that I am going to start off by putting this little word down. Actually, it's two words, and it just says "our tradition," because this is something that my family has done for as long as I can remember. I definitely know we were doing this in the 80s. So I was a young preteen. I think at my earliest fond memories of going out to my uncle's farm and looking for a tree for my family and for my grandparents' family. It was like a huge family event. Like there's 20 some of us that go and ride in the back of the trucks and have a good old time. So I put down the words in their clear stickers, so it says "our tradition." And then I pull out this little sticker that says "timeless treasures." And any time we go there would be a timeless treasure, but this actually ended up being the last year that I went. My father passed away that next year, and things just kind of changed around here, and we started new traditions. So I have this other sticker that came off of a sticker sheet that I also got on Facebook, and I have no idea the brand because there's nothing on there. And it says Rosy Cheeks and Crispy Air, and I went ahead and inked around it because I didn't know how much of it was going to come over on the white, so I wanted to go ahead and ink around it with that same black soot distress ink. And I'm debating on which tree I want to use. There's a little chipboard tree and then this Creative Memories tree that I have in my stash. And so I decided to go ahead and pull out the Creative Memories one. It looks a little bit more like the trees on the paper, as well as the trees that, well, we were cutting down. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to do anything more with those. I have lots of little ornament stickers that I could put on there, but I decided to add a little bit of extra. In the sketch, there is some little dots around up here at the top on the left corner and down at the bottom on the right corner. So I thought I'd do that. And then when I did that, I used the mica mists in the, I've got tarnished brass on there, and I used the tarnished brass and one of the other ones. That's descriptive. I know, super helpful. So I decided, oh, that's my chair. It makes the weirdest noises. I decided that I was going to use those to decorate the tree. So I used tarnished brass, and I'm looking at them now so that you all know. I mean, it would have been a smart move to keep them out so I could tell you. And the antiqued bronze. Those are the colors that I used on the background, and the tarnished brass is what I used. The shiny, goldy looking. I don't know how well you can see that in this video. And then I found a little star, a yellowy colored shiny star, and put it at the top of my tree. There's the sketch, and I will journal later just about this being an annual tree hunt. There's the close-ups. I hope you all enjoyed this sketch. Come back again and see me, and I hope you all get a chance to do something you love with someone you love. Happy scrapping.